We're 13 and 11, Alan, and I feel like you and I are very, very much the same when it comes to our Laker fandom. We have been Laker fans our whole lives, right? Yep. Both are in media covering the team we love. So there's that balance of, am I a fan? Okay, I can't show my passion here. Okay, I can show my passion here. There's a very fine line that you have to play when you're in the roles that you and I have been in for years now. But I said this the other day to B. Moore, Brandon Moore, who you know is one of our producers. He's a lifer as well. Hooper, Lakers, everything. I'm like, okay, I understand over a long season you're going to lose games you should have won and all that stuff. But can we just take 2 games in the first 22 games, I believe was 23, that they absolutely had in hand and were over? Orlando and Atlanta. Okay? You win those games, you're 15 and 9. Do you feel different today than a 13 and 11? 15 and 9? So do you still get blown out the game after Orlando? Is the mindset different if you had won that Orlando game? I don't know. Maybe
so no question about it. You feel differently.
Yeah.
I've 2 games this early in the season is massive. So like you just said about the record wise, 13 and 11 versus 15 and 9.
Yeah.
It sounds like such a big difference. So I do think there's something in what you're saying. Listen, I think of all the games this year, what really, really threw me off more than anything else. And I certainly watch you guys when you're doing your stuff in the post game and everything else. And there were times I felt like you guys were even speechless. How they were losing was like, what the hell just happened here?
Yeah.
What just happened here? Like, it got off to such a good start. Like you mentioned, okay, Orlando, it's all good. JJ was actually mentioning this in the, I think, last game against Portland, before the game. He said something to the effect of, I can live with a loss against Atlanta because I knew what happened. I could live with a loss against Orlando because I knew if we just hit a couple more free throws, okay, we're probably going to win that game.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't do anything about what do I do after they lose by 41 to Miami? 27s, 29s, 25s. That's the part that really, I think, not just threw me off and threw you off, but threw everybody off. They went into such a stretch, such a spiral. It's like, where the hell did this just come from?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And it's funny, I was at work and lifelong friend of mine, Mark Walton, who I met back in my Fox Sports days. He does editing for us at Spectrum. He walked by me and he was like, do you remember a couple weeks ago, last time I saw you, how happy you were with this Laker team? I mean, I was selling him so hard on the team and how much I enjoyed the team.
Sure.
And how the team looked different and how this year was so fun and the style they were playing. And fast forward a couple weeks and now you have that feeling again because, I feel like we've been through this before, but I still believe they're that team. I think losing Austin Reeves was so detrimental to this squad because he does a lot, right?
Yeah, he's, but it's easy sometimes to just be like, it's easy sometimes to not even maybe pay attention that, okay, yeah, Reeves is out, but are you surprised? I was a little surprised because he's going to get 6 days.
Yeah.
That he needed. I don't know if he needs it or it's just, I don't know if it's just, well, why fly to Minnesota? The only problem is they also don't have, all these games are so important.
Yeah.
That.
I'm curious if he plays Friday. But Sunday, whatever it is, when he's, ready to go. I don't know. I'm still, basing everything off of what I've seen for the last 7 years, right? Like how many times I've counted it out where, he's not going to play or,
that's true.
He comes back fresh and ready to go and revive. And we saw it throughout his career at Miami, Cleveland. He's 22 seasons in. He's earned this break, right? He's earned, the schedule allowed it, right? Last year, the schedule took its toll. The team went full steam ahead, won the in-season tournament, and then took the foot off the gas because that's what you do when you push hard for something. You have this mental break, physical break in your mind, and then all of a sudden you're losing games. So I think this year it's going to flip. I think the Lakers will be better for it.
Give me, I'm curious. We're still early, 13 and 11.
Yeah.
I mean, semi-early, right? Over a quarter of the season out. what are you most encouraged about? And then give me some things that you got some concerns on.
I think I'll start with the concerns because it leads me into things that I'm excited about and confident about. The concerns are just what you and I kind of were looking at. We're hoping the team didn't have those kind of games, not communicating and losing by 30 or 40 or whatever, and just the competition not there. But then I think about it. It's like, I don't know, man. Like we follow the Lakers like a religion. Like we're talking about every game, and you forget that like every team has these moments. Denver can go lose to Washington.
Sure.
Boston can get blown out. Warriors can get blown out by 50 and then beat Boston 2 nights later. It truly is the NBA. You just don't want to see a pattern. And I think for Laker fans and for the two of us, it just feels familiar. I think that's the concern. It feels familiar to the last few years. And I just don't want us to get behind the 8 ball. I don't want us to be fighting for 9, 10, 8, 7 all the way through. I want us to be above the line. That's the difference I want to see. And that's what we saw for the first 14 games. And I think that was exciting. So I hope that makes sense, Alan. Like that's what I'm concerned about. Listen, if you want to break down the X's and O's, yeah, I'm concerned about Jared Vanderbilt not being back until possibly who knows when in January. Like I'm concerned about Jackson Hayes' ankle because we need another big to help AD and a guy that can protect the rim and play the vertical game. And we don't have that without Jackson Hayes available. We need Austin Reeves back. This team isn't good enough. It's not built to 100%. Be able to carry the team when the pieces aren't all there. Some teams can get away with that, not many. Even LeBron and AD, when LeBron was playing MVP basketball after they won the title, AD got hurt. Staying afloat was like 500. People look back and like we're all over Kuz and Caruso and KCP and those guys for not being able to hold it down when they were both hurt. But really, when you look back on it, those guys won some games. It's no one's winning in this league. Look at the Suns without KD. They still have Devin Booker. They're 1-9, I think I heard, whatever it is. It's just the way the league is. And I will say this, and I hate using it as an excuse, but I think to make myself remain confident, if this makes sense, Alan, I do look at their road and their schedule so far, and I say it's freaking brutal. It was brutal, like the never going back for one home game, back out on the road. I mean, teams get a little tired mentally, they get fatigued physically, and I think that definitely happened to the Lakers. I just you nailed it earlier, and I jumped on it as well. Like the Orlando Hawks game, those two end up being really big when you look at your record. You're 15-9, all of a sudden you're well above the line and you feel good. But in the middle of that sandwich was the blowouts. So that's where you can start to steamroll the other way and lose your confidence. So I'm just hoping the break will be good.